what's in the box? So this is kind of a long overdue follow-up to, I think, the most viewed video that I have, which was my 5 things that Doctor Who needs to stop doing. And my number 1 on that was mystery boxes, which, to reiterate what that is, it's the question that gets seeded across the series that we get an answer to at the end. So in Series 1, it was Bad Wolf. Series 2, it was Torchwood. Series 3, it was Harold Saxon. Series 4, it was Rose, you know, showing up at the very beginning, and then a couple of other points across it. Series 5, The Crack. Series 6, good old eye patch lady kept showing up. Series 7 kind of only did one for a half, but that was, of course, Clara with the Impossible Girl thing. Series 8, Who is Missy? Series 9, What is the Hybrid? Series 10, What's in the Vault? Etc., etc. So that's what they have been up to this point. Now, more than a few people commented on that video telling me that they like the mystery boxes, but then pretty much all of them explained why, and they weren't actually defending the mystery boxes, they were defending the concept of season arcs, and they're not the same thing. So a season arc is whatever the connective tissue is that is, you know, being the through line running throughout the episodes of the season, of the series. Now, mystery boxes is how Doctor Who has chosen to do season arcs up to this point. That is by no means the only way to do a season arc. And that was kind of the point I tried to make, and I guess didn't make as clearly as I could have. I don't have a problem with season arcs. I like season arcs. I have a problem with the fact that the show up to this point has been doing the exact same style of season arc over and over and over again. It doesn't help that the whole nature of the mystery box thing is something that kind of wears on me in general, because I get irritated when it's very obvious that you're just dangling something that you are going to withhold information from us for a while. And there are exceptions. Like, I do think, say, the cracks in time were one of the better ones, because they actually impacted the story as it went along, as opposed to just something that got said randomly to remind you that it's a thing until we find out what it is, which is how the vast majority of these have worked. Heck, I think even Moffat was getting sick of them by the end, because even though I do think that the vault and, you know, what's in the vault counts as a mystery box for Series 10, they wrapped that up even before we got to the finale, so even he was kind of just doing it in an obligatory way. But coming back to what I said before, this is not the only way to do season arcs. There are a multitude of ways of doing season arcs, so that's what I'm sick of. I'm sick of this method of doing it. Of course I want connective tissue. But at the same time, I still like that most episodes are more or less standalone. I don't want Doctor Who to become massively serialized, where it's just 1 or 2 stories told over the 13 episodes, where you see an episode and it's not a complete thing. You have to see the next 2, 3, 4, 5 entire season worth, whatever. I don't want it to turn into that. I don't want it to become Breaking Bad. I don't want it to become Broadchurch. I like Doctor Who to tell me a more or less complete story in 1, occasionally 2 episodes. But it is nice to have something that is something we keep coming back to, that can keep us moving along. So what are some options aside from a mystery box? Well, there's the Buffy the Vampire Slayer approach, i.e. the big bad, which is to have the thing that is connecting the episodes that we keep coming back to and the thing that we know is going on in the background be a villain. A villain that we touch back on, a villain with plans, a villain who we see move those plans forward. Maybe they are interacting directly in the story of a given episode. Maybe we just touch on them a little bit to remind you that they are up to something that is going to have to be dealt with. And no, not revealing what the villain's plan, that does not make it a mystery box, because what's connecting everything is the villain and the threat as opposed to the mystery of exactly what it is they're going to be trying to pull it off. So you can have a mystery aspect to that, and it's not going to literally be as much of a retread as, don't you want to find out what this is? Which is what the mystery box always is. So that's one way to do that. And you can do that with any number of villains. In a way, I suppose they kind of did that with Missy, but really only in hindsight when you go back and look at Series 8 again, because we didn't know who the heck she was. We didn't know if she was good news, bad news, or just some weird nebulous thing that with its own agenda that was neither inherently good or evil. You get to the end, you find out who she is, and then it kind of becomes a big bad story, but first viewing, it was a mystery box. Another option, if you just want to go more subtle and not have a blatant piece of connective tissue, just have the progression from episode to episode be character focused. Have it be character journeys, how what they went through last time affected them and how it's changing them a little bit every episode. And we watch the journey of a character. We got a little bit of this with Capaldi's era with various characters. They did it a bit with Clara in Series 9, but completely botched the ending of that. Hellbent. And I've said before that I feel like the Doctor himself went through a journey and is a changed character from Series 8 to 9 to 10, but in a lot of ways it feels like that was a transition that happened between series. First one, he's very grumpy. Second one, he's kind of overdoing, trying to be cool. It's almost like a midlife crisis. And then in his third series, he's kind of settled into basically a good, healthy place, or as good and healthy as he can be for as much damage as he has. But we don't really, and we see the things that he experiences, so we understand why he's different from what he was last time we saw him, but we don't actually see that journey for him. It just kind of, we have to kind of just assume that it happened, because the start of every series, he's a little bit different. And his intro every time, he feels like a little bit of a different character. And while I do still maintain that that did feel like a proper arc for his character and not just inconsistent writing, at least I don't feel it did, it still could have been done as a stronger, clear through line for here's the way that this character is changing. And it does not necessarily have to be him. It can be a companion, which I said they kind of tried to do with Clara in 9 and mainly didn't stick the landing. But up to that point, it was kind of working with, you know, the whole her getting cockier and trying to be like him, and then ultimately that getting her killed. They kind of did it there, but then they completely undermined it later on. Plus, they were giving us a mystery box on top of that anyway with the stupid hybrid thing. So, I don't know what Chibnall's up to. None of us do. We can speculate. I'm sure a lot of people are speculating that it could be a more serialized approach, but I think that's mainly just based off the fact that he did Broadchurch, which was very serialized, and I don't think that's an automatic given. It could go a number of ways on that, but if we are going to do connective tissue and through lines for a series from episode to episode, you know, things that we are following that stretch beyond whatever the individual episode story is, can it just not be a, ooh, don't you want to find out what this thing is again? Just please, I need a break. However else you want to do it, I'm open to finding out, but just give me one series without it, please. So those are my thoughts on trying to clarify what I mean when I say please no more mystery boxes. What are your thoughts on all this? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. And there's all that stuff that you can do. You know the stuff, likes and subscribes and Patreon support, maybe buy a t-shirt, follow me on Twitter, listen to my podcast. Links for all that stuff is down in the description. And until next time, this council is adjourned.